as Adona and I talked about 6 and 7 years ago, the dismantling of the infrastructure of the reptilian presence that has dominated, manipulated, and abused global human society for thousands of years. That formal dismantling began with the destruction of the remaining 15 underground and also the 2 underground bases that were the lattice network of bases in Washington, D.C., and the 1 underground in Colorado. Now, most of the work was done by the people of planet Cana in the Procyon star system, and the Colorado base was gotten rid of by the people from the Sirius A star system, the same technology. What did that result in? Well, that resulted in tens of thousands of Draco, primarily Draco, Sirius B, Orion reptilians that were removed and sent to a planet in the far, far edge of the universe. It also resulted in the capture of a number of what we would call generals and colonels in the Draco reptilian army, for lack of the military presence that they had here. That the destruction of those 15 bases and 2 underground also included the capture of high-ranking Illuminati officials and also high-ranking generals and colonels that were sent to the Andromeda Council primary biosphere for war crimes tribunals. A number of them, actually all of them, were convicted. Some chose death. Some chose positive mind reprogramming. And the others, very few of them actually, in terms of those generals and colonels, were shipped off to this planet at the far edge of the universe. Why is that relevant? Well, it's relevant because that time frame of late 2012 led to the loss of power and control at the top of the reptilian hierarchy. And that also resulted in a net sum total of about 120 reptilians on this planet. About 70 of them are purebloods, and they're deep underground, making the decisions and still pulling the strings of the puppets on the surface. And the remaining 50 or so, some odd, maybe the number is a little higher, of hybrids who are in the top positions of global power in the healthcare industry, in government, in corporations, in media, in energy, you name it, including religions. So what we're dealing with today is a relative few pure reptilians that are deep underground, pulling the strings, making the decisions that still remain. And a number of those lieutenants, if you will, the hybrids, are still executing those orders. Some of the hybrids have been removed, not all. If we are talking about our ability to better reclaim our lives and to live more balanced lives where we have greater free will and we're getting, if you will, managed and put down less, less frequently. That means that many of the human and or reptilian hybrids, or, and I've used the word before, they're lieutenants at the top who've been pulling the strings, and there are a number of names that have been thrown out there, but that those people are taken out of position of power. And the more that those people are removed from power, and the more that certain systems that have been in place, you know, like a severe taxing of us, and the list goes on, the busted healthcare system, the more that those systems start getting broken down, the greater that humanity has its ability to, if you will, rise up and improve itself to be at a higher and higher level of consciousness and a spiritual awakening, if you will. Everything that I've learned from our Andromeda Council of Galactic People contacts have told me that it's not about when, it's about the events happening on this planet. And so all the events I just mentioned are dependent on people and systems that are changing. The other thing that's an event is there are near future earth change events that are going to continue to happen at a greater frequency and at a greater magnitude. At the peak of all of that is when the transformational shift of this world is expected to happen, it's expected to take place, which means a wholesale change from organic life to literal, spiritual, high energy life. Will we see better days before then? Will we see a better quality of life before then in this country and in other countries? I certainly think we will. I think that we're going to see, contrary to my own belief earlier, I think that we're going to see some kind of change in the financial system, so that at some level, the Federal Reserve is going to get taken out. The US Federal Reserve dollar, which is basically a dollar issued by a big loan sharking agency, is going to get taken out as the global currency. I believe these things are going to happen. And when that happens, you'll have new types of currencies and different kinds of opportunities. Do I believe that we're going to have a global society and a US society that is flush with money and everybody's rich and there are no parameters? No. Mm-hmm. And moreover, it's going to get rolled out at one step at a time. There's not, I really don't see the good guys going, okay, here's all this money, go ahead, have a party. Yeah. It's not going to happen. Until the concept of money as a global society medium, as long as it's intact, we're a slave society. Right. In terms of being financial slaves. Once money goes away, then the whole game changes. Yeah. Because that whole statement of, if I have a lot of money, then I can have a good life. Well, what will likely happen is, if I can use this new technology I have, then I can have a really good life, and I can create things that'll be helpful to other people. And the whole concept of debt and money, once it goes away, that's the game changer.
Mm-hmm. One of the things that I was told by Star Family is that, as he said, once the financial system falls, it's done away with. What's going to take place is that the Adjournment Council has already discussed what can we do to improve the quality of life in humanity on a day-to-day basis.
Even in its current organic form.
Right.
Yep.
And they have been talking about technology. They've been talking about energy sources. They've been talking about advanced technology to provide, for example, food for them. They've been talking about, we're going to create a trading system from other star systems, from other planets with this planet. We're going to bring them up, reintroduce them to new, it's not really new, it's bringing back into humanity's hands to correct history, advanced education, trading system, what do they call the system of between, exchange family program, where the families can go on a ship and visit another world where they can learn about that world, that culture, and there's an exchange that would be going on. So what they really, bottom line, what they're telling me is that we have all the necessary supplies in the universe to maintain the quality of life for all life forms that exist therein. And since Earth is kind of like put under the wings of the Dromana Council. You know, it's under the Dromana Council's umbrella. And so they're going to make sure that Earth will not have all of these wars and nuclear weapons and all of the stuff that's been going on for centuries.
Are you talking about once Earth gets the invitation to join the Council as well as the Galactic Federation?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
All right. Good.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, because right now, like I said, they're under the umbrella. We're under its umbrella, meaning they're going to make sure we're taken care of.
Okay. All right.
That's the thing. They already have submitted the plans for membership, for Earth to be have a membership within the Andromeda Council and the Galactic Federation. So we're coming back into the fold of the galactic communities. And so the galactic communities will want to trade with us, will want to help us to catch up, so to speak, get to where we need to be, that we should have been centuries ago. The ascension process is not going to happen overnight, because some of the things that I have seen from Azar, who is the chief medical officer who works with me, as far as seeing the soul essence of the person, it depends on his or her development, where they're at, and how much can they handle? How much can they absorb in terms of the ascension process? And they do not want people to have a heart attack, for example, in this time and period of change. So they're gradually building up down and bringing in downloads to the people a little at a time, so they can absorb it and handle it. And the reassurance is this, is that they are not alone. They have their own guides, they have their own star families. The star families are doing their best to connect with them and to let them know that there is nothing to fear for their future, because the future is secure within their soul essence. So our lives will improve over time. Right now we're seeing chaos. You know, everything's all upheaval. That's part of the change. It's shaking everything up from the old paradigm and coming into the new paradigm. There is always hope for the people. If they would just realize that and really open their hearts. When they open their hearts to a very simple thing called love. Love is the most powerful force in the universe. And love is what bridges all lives together. And when you have that love, you will have that peace. And when you have that peace, your body will transform itself in a much easier way than normally would.